Hey guys, I'll just welcome you guys since y'all are here. We're going to wait a couple minutes just in case some people are lost in the rain. But we'll be kicking off here in a bit, and probably take about 30 minutes to do this. Could take a little more if you guys are, if the back and forth gets kind of intense, but we'll see. And you guys are on camera. Camera here it's got you all, so. But in the video, it's like, you're like this big, so. Because since this is the first of 4 sessions, this one will be posted for people that couldn't make it. Two minutes. We will get started. You can find anything on YouTube. But I just did a search for 2-minute countdown and found that on YouTube. Because I don't have my phone with me. All right, listen to this real quick, guys. All right, we'll kick this off in Mr. Fowler's record. Listen to this, pump you up. You guys know this song? Okay, everybody ready? Come on. All right. That's what this, I want you to think about that as we're going through about what we're about to go through. So that's our timer. So we're going to get started. If anybody else is going to be here, then I guess they're going to have to watch what they missed, right? So, all right. So I've got the presentation up. Let's see here. All right, so managing your online presence. All right, so we're gonna talk about social media in general, being online, and then we're gonna take a deep dive into one particular social media platform that I will talk about in a minute. Just keep it to yourself, right? I've sort of presented it to his class already, but I refined it a little bit since then. So, All right, so I'm a computer science instructor here at Wallace, so I know a little bit about being online. So different social media providers. What is this one here? Anybody? What's that symbol? TikTok. All right, does everybody agree with that? What about this one? Instagram. All right. You guys are about this one here. Twitter. All right. So far we've done TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Who's got one of those? All right. Who's got two of those? All right. Two of you. How about three of those? So Mr. Fowler is the only one that's got them all three. How about, let's add another one. What is this? Snapchat. We got any Snapchatters? All right. And this is the last one I'm including in this list. The granny of them all, right? Facebook. Everybody got that? Maybe? No? All right, well, there's one in particular we're going to talk about today. About to reveal it right here. We're going to go a little deep on this one because it's related to you as a student and an emerging professional, right? So this one here, everybody know what that one is called? You ever heard of this one? This is the common symbol for it, just like those other symbols we just saw. This one is LinkedIn, right? So haven't heard of that one? So LinkedIn is, for lack of a better comparison, it's like Facebook, except it's for professionals to use. So people out in the world working, a lot of people use it to connect with, other people in their industry. It's also good for people like you guys who are learning about a new industry to kind of be part of an industry as a student and kind of see things from real world perspective. But it's called LinkedIn. You kind of see this slide here, kind of, you usually see it spelled out like that up there. LinkedIn. All right, so as a Wallace State student who hopes to learn some skills to then get a job one day, right? I would say that's true of most of you. Anybody that's not true for? All right. A way to be able to get plugged into the community that you want to be part of would be through LinkedIn. And I'm just going to go through how to set up a profile so that you'll start getting noticed, and it's easier than you think it is. And we're going to go through a couple of other things with LinkedIn. I went through and created a whole new profile for myself and outlined the process here. So this is what it looks like when you get to the main LinkedIn screen. This is generally what you see. And if you'll see right here, there's Join Now button. If you've never been part of it before, that's where you join. They make it very simple because, they want you to be part of their. Why does LinkedIn care about you, and why do they want you to be part of their platform? Yeah, they want to advertise to you, right? So the hope is that what you get from it is worth putting up with whatever they're pitching, right? And so far, I've been using it for a decade plus, and I don't feel overwhelmed with advertisements like I do on other platforms. So it seems to be working. Plus, unlike other, I don't think you have this in other, at least not as an individual, like paid subscriptions. You can actually have a premium subscription to LinkedIn. You'll see a lot of people that hire a lot of people, or maybe they're looking for that big time job and they're shopping and they feel like it's worth paying for a few months. They may actually pay for a premium membership. But anyway, let's go through how to join. So you just simply click on that little join, that little small little writing that says join now. I'm not sure why they've got it so well hidden, but that's where it is, right? The green arrow I added so that you could see where it is, right? When you click on that, you come right here. They want to know an email address, and they want you to set up a password. And then you just agree and join. That's it. There's some more to it behind the scenes, but that's how you get started. But since it asked for an email address, let's talk about email addresses for a second. Professional email address, right? So I'm going to show an email address up here, and I want you guys to give me your, real, honest gut reaction to this email address. Are you with me? All right, is that a professional email address? Right, that's about as benign as I could get with an email address, but a lot of people have email addresses like that, right? It's some hobby or whatever, and that's great for your personal email address. But when you start getting into the work world and you haven't yet gotten that job that assigned you an email address, you need to come up with one that is sort of benign. It doesn't even have to be super clever, like I made an attempt here on this next one. Something like this, right? Just your name. If it has to be your name with some letter or some numbers to make it different, a platform like Gmail, it's probably really hard for John Smith to get a unique ID, right? He might have to use his middle name, or use a sequence of numbers, whatever. But as long as it's not something that makes people have to judge it. You don't want people to judge your email address or judge you before they even meet you, right? Should people do that? Probably not, but do they? Sure, right? I see student email addresses all the time. It's not that big a deal for an instructor to see a crazy student email address, but there's really no reason for me to make any judgments. I'm just a teacher. But if I was an employer, I'm not going to be hiring Johnny Funboy, right? I might not even take the time to interview him just because of his email. All right, so anyway, so you got your email address figured out, so get one. So basically what you've created it with your email address and your password. That's what you agreed to the conditions. Then you just sign in. I went ahead and created a new account here on LinkedIn for myself so I could step through the process. First thing it wanted me to do was a security check, so I had to pick which one of these was the right side up, and I moved forward, and then bam, that was it. I put my email address, I created a password, and I agreed to some conditions, and I did the security check, and then all of a sudden I had an account. So I want you to see here it's what it is, and it actually detected that I was in Hanceville because I did it here. You guys see the Hanceville? Didn't have any reason to change it because I actually do have another account. This is just for demonstration purposes, but I want you to take a look at a couple of things on this screen. One, the arrow just pointed to, do you see that? And the arrow just pointed here. You see those two things? This shows, I don't have a picture yet, which is rarely important on LinkedIn apparently, and it shows my profile strength as a beginner. Well, I just started, right? So what we really want our profile strength to be all the way down here. We want to be the star, right? So I'm about to show, there's only like 3 or 4 steps and then you can get there. I was surprised how easy it was because I did it years ago originally over time, and it was a little harder to reach the goal than it is now. So you're going to get this add section area. You click on that and it brings up all these different things where you can add stuff, right? So you can add lots of different things, but there were certain things that you had to put in, like it asked for job experience and educational experience. I listed one each for those. I listed my job here and I listed the last place I went to college, and that's all it took. I suspect many of you may also have 1 or 2 past jobs and maybe 1 or 2 colleges, right? Pretty easy. And look, by doing that, look where I got. Once you make it past this little check mark here with your profile screen, you actually start getting noticed, at least according to LinkedIn. It's possible to be noticed at that point. Because what have I done? I've got my picture there. They know where I'm located because that was from the beginning. I've got my job experience and my education. And that would even include if your last education you completed was high school, that should be there, right? Maybe later on when you get another one besides that, leave the high school off, put the new thing, whatever that is. And you can technically put everything you've done as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But so we see we've made some progress past the midway point. All right, notice how it says at the bottom here to add 5 skills. So I want you guys to stop right now and think, do you have 5 skills right now that would apply toward whatever your goal job is? Or maybe you don't even know what the goal job is already. Have you thought about that? All right, let me just think, take 30 seconds and think it out. Do I need to bring in a 30-second timer? No, we'll just wait. All right, so do you have at least 5 skills that you put in here? And you're thinking, well, what do you mean by skills? What is it that you do that you're good at, or what is it something that you do that other people depend on you to do? What are those things? Mr. Fowler, you got one? You don't have one skill. What if someone needs to change the way their notifications work on their smartphone? Could you do that for them?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You have smartphone configuration skills, right? So think about it that way. What kind of skills do you have when you think about it like that? I mean, every one of you have somebody calls you sometimes, says, hey, you know how to do this. Could you tell me, or you've done this before? Maybe you're really good at finding, at matching, clothing to people's skin tone. I don't know. There's people that are good at all kind of things, right? And when you really think about it, there's people in your life that ask you for help with things because they know you're good at it. Just think about it. Well, anyway, when you get up to needing these skills, you have to be able to list them in. And probably the skill you have is out there. So once you go through this, you'll see all of them that are available. But I went in and listed some skills, and I'll show you what they wound up being in a minute. But once I got the 5 skills in, it says I was an all-star. What does that mean? It means we made it all the way to the end of this. I was really wanted to have an image of you making it to the end. But as soon as I made it to the end, that other thing popped up. So we filled in all that line right there. All right, then this is what, the profile looks like this. So I'm going to take it a step further. Once you have an LinkedIn profile, it pretty much looks like a resume, especially because you can fill in everything that you can fill in all your education, all your skills, your job, responsibilities. You can put in stuff that you volunteer to do. You can put in certifications you have. All that stuff can be put in here. But as you can see, all that stuff is on top of just getting the base profile. Right now, what have I added? A picture, my education, past employment, and 5 skills. So that's 4 things if you want to count them that way, or it's 3 things plus 5. That'd be 8 things, I guess, if you want to say it. The skills is each one. But, and I did that, I've done it before and was aware of it, but it took me about 10 minutes. And that was only because I was screen capturing and putting them into this PowerPoint, right? So you guys could do it quicker than that. And what's the upside to being part of this now? What could you do now that you're part of this? Say, I'm connected to 2 things by default because I got Wallace State listed as my employer, and then my college is listed right here. So by listing other people that have those same things in their profile, automatically I can find them and connect to them because we have that in common, right? And then all of a sudden you start figuring out all these other things, and then whatever your skills are will all of a sudden bring up recommendations for you. Sounds a lot like something that you've dealt with before, right? All right, so creating a resume with LinkedIn. So let me give you a little backstory on this. For years, and if you guys have ever applied for a job, and I'm sure most of you have, a lot of times they'll ask for a resume, right? So for a while, I tried to just say, well, I'll send you my LinkedIn, personalized link because you have one. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute, but you have a personalized LinkedIn link, just like you do it on Facebook, a personalized link. But people didn't really like that. They wanted an actual resume. Well, LinkedIn kind of figured that out, that people were trying to use their platform as a resume, so they just made it so you can use it as a resume. So I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to use LinkedIn to create a resume. All right, we were on this screen here before, so we're going to click the More button, and then when we do that, there's a little button there that says Build a Resume. And then when you choose that button, this little box pops up. You can upload a resume, or you can just create it from your profile. Which one do you think I want to do here? Right. If I was going to upload a resume, why would I do that? That means I already got one. I'm creating one. So I'm going to create it from the profile. And then it says your desired job title. That's kind of cool, right? You automatically can tailor this to what kind of job you're looking for, right? So once you start typing in a job that you're looking for, it'll populate a list for you. And from that, you can pick one. I picked this one, Senior Information Technology Project Manager. I've held that kind of job before. I figured if I just put computer science instructor there, you would say, well, you already have that job, right? So anyway, so I entered that in, and that was one of the ones on the list. Then I selected apply. And then once I did that, it brought up this. Look at this. It looks like this is the resume. It shows my summary, which is something else I added. I forgot to mention. But I already had that written from a previous, because I already had a LinkedIn profile. So you might want to take a little time and write about yourself. I did neglect to mention that earlier, but it doesn't have to be a lot. Look at that. I got 3 sentences there, or 3 paragraphs. But, okay, this is still online. You can see this is still in the browser. You can actually download this as a PDF, because you may have somebody that wants you to just email them the resume. So all the information is already on LinkedIn, but you're just downloading it as a PDF by clicking that button right there. It comes up and wants you to save it. It actually names it for you, something that makes sense. Resume, Gregory Knight. I'm sure yours would be resume, Slick, right? So, and then once you save it, this is what it looks like in the PDF. And see how short that is? This one, the skills, you see them listed at the bottom. So this is how I was going to arrange the resume. I didn't put my phone number on this one since it was a demo for me, but it's got my email address. It's got my personalized LinkedIn link, which is also, it's actually the clickable URL if the PDF is electronic. You can click it, but all it's going to do is give you the same information that's right here. Because a lot of times when I used to be a hiring manager, I would take people's resumes and I would look them up on LinkedIn and compare and try to find some kind of a contradiction. They're like, why are they mentioning it on this resume, but they don't mention it on their LinkedIn profile? Well, if you do it this way, that's not going to happen because it's the same thing, right? So, and I really don't have a problem with this format. I don't believe anybody would. Any HR or any hiring person would not have a problem with the way this is laid out. How to contact you, the summary, your experience, your education, and then your skills. I mean, what else do you need? It's that simple. That might have been, that wasn't even, considering I waited, that was only about 20 minutes. Now, I thought about going into detail about how to use social media in a positive way. So let's just mention that really quick. Just looking at the room, I don't think I got any people who are posting stuff on social media that they one day would be ashamed of. People do it all the time. So if you've got a situation like that, where there's something that exists out there that you wouldn't want somebody making a decision about you to see, spend some time to clean it up. Right, so what should your online presence be? Right, well, your online presence should represent, especially in the world, because really what it boils down to, what we're talking about here is finding a job and growing and succeeding in that job. So your online presence should be in support of that, at least the professional online presence. If you're going to do something personal online presence, then it should be in support of those type of things, your hobbies, your outside interests. but still in a way that nobody's going to look at it and make a judgment about you. It's a hard thing to do, right? It's only, you remember how, well, many of you, do you remember pre-social media? Before it was a thing? No? Your reputation, preceded you, you went places. Well, now people can, your reputation's out there and you're not even aware that it is. So just keep it clean, keep it civil. I believe that's all I got. Is that an easy session for you?
Yeah.
Check box, you feel like you learned something? Yep.
Is there like a, you know how the apps keep changing and
Yeah.
I'm not real technical, I'm not a
Sure.
technical person. But is there an updated version of LinkedIn or,
Yeah, as far as your smartphone goes,
or an app that's replaced it?
no, LinkedIn is the app.
Okay.
Yeah, LinkedIn. Yeah, they, and it updates just like any other app on your smartphone. Eventually, periodically, there'll be a new version. But just like anything else, you gotta, if you don't update it frequent enough, eventually it'll say, okay, you need to update it or not, it's not gonna work anymore. But yeah, LinkedIn it's been around about as long as Facebook. Millions of people out there on it. It's just people don't know about it until they start getting into the workforce, really. It's good. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Fowler, we'll see you later in the week, huh?
I was waiting on some of the gauge stopped working again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, for those watching online,
Sorry.
20 minutes.